The first celebrity I worked with was Sylvester Stallone. He was getting ready for a movie back in the early 90s. Because I had a reputation in the movie industry for helping Stallone get ready for Cliffhanger, anytime a star had to get muscular for a movie, I was getting a phone call. Now, Demi Moore, for the movie G.I. Jane, had to get really strong, and she didn't want to use any stunt doubles in any of the scenes where she's doing pull-ups and one-arm push-ups. She was determined to build that strength. For the movie Fight Club, Edward Norton had to go from scrawny to brawny in order to play that role, and it was a real man's movie. Jerry Seinfeld's one of the guys that I've been working with him for over a decade. Now, 20 years later, I'm still working with people from sports and from entertainment and celebrities. It's not just getting in shape for the movie role. It's getting in shape, learning how to eat right, learning how to exercise, learning how to make it a part of your life.
We're back now with a story for anyone who says they are so far out of shape it would take a lifetime to look good again.
So imagine that, a new body. Would you believe that?
I would, because I read his book.
So you can spend less time exercising and still lose weight.
We have got a guest and a program for you. It might actually be able to change your life. He's the best-selling author of Body for Life. Bill Phillips is here. Hi there.
Hello.
So now, this book of yours, it's been on the New York Times bestsellers list for 75 weeks. That's pretty amazing.
I'm amazed by it.
Now, what's this book actually about?
It's about your life. It's about you. The way you look is a representation of you. And that's what the book is about.
Okay.
About gaining mental strength, healthy thoughts, and a healthy body.
Once you have the facts about fitness, you got to put them into action. And I see so many people who aren't, and it really bothers me because I know that they could look better, they could feel better, and they could live longer. And I know that they can do it. And I feel a sense of responsibility to help them put it into action. That goes all the way back to whatever was inside of me when I was 9 years old teaching Little League football players how to exercise. As soon as I've got something down, I want to teach others. When I learned how to ski, I was teaching everybody to ski. When I learned how to lift weights, I was teaching everybody to lift weights. And when I learned how to cross that abyss between knowing and doing, I wanted to share that and put that out there. This is important because this is probably where it all started. I signed up for Little League football when I was 8 or 9 years old, and I was probably the only kid on this team that liked the exercise better than the football games. I liked doing the push-ups and the sit-ups and the wind sprints. My coach right there, he put me in charge of leading the calisthenics and the exercises. So that right there was my first transformation camp, teaching Little League football players how to build their muscles and get strong. I don't know if I really knew that it would be the thing I wanted to do for the rest of my life until I take my last breath. I grew up in a small town in Colorado, outside of Denver, and not many people had much money. You didn't really notice it. And the first time I ever really noticed we didn't have much money is when I went to apply for university. And I was thinking, well, I got to do something to pay the bills. I wanted to become a doctor. And I knew that I was good at teaching people exercise. I really enjoyed it. I charged people back in those days $12 an hour to be a personal trainer. And I was selling my programs on Xerox copies at various gym counters. When I was running an EAS company and writing Muscle Media magazine, the reason I was so excited about the supplements and the workouts and the challenges is because that's how I lived. I would only teach people what I was excited about learning myself. I would describe my education as ongoing. And the initial testing ground for everything that I learned was just my own body. So every new workout that I would teach is something that worked for me. Every new idea with supplements and nutrition was something that worked for me. All right, this photo makes me smile even today because this was right after the Denver Broncos won their first Super Bowl. And I had spent most of that year working with the top players on the team and developing their supplement and nutrition programs. The Broncos were one of the first teams to actually have a supplement consultant, an expert there for the guys that wanted to lose weight, get stronger, and keep their energy up during the season. Now every team has got a supplement expert. I worked with Karl Malone from the Utah Jazz. Roy Jones Jr. used to come out to our EAS gym. And Terrell Davis was one of the Broncos that I worked with during the Super Bowl years, getting his nutrition and supplement program down so that he got better results from his workouts. And Shannon Sharp and John Elway were also on the program. All of these people love weightlifting. They're over 40 and it's a part of their lifestyle. In our 20s, we often have a lot of confidence and a lot of drive and even a competitive nature all wrapped into our fitness and bodybuilding. Kind of for better or worse, we simmer down a little. We find other ways to direct that competitiveness and that drive maybe towards a career or family in your 30s. And in your 40s, you just don't have that much excitement about going to work out. And it's because people don't look for the real reasons. Throughout the 90s, we were teaching people how to get in shape. I had books and magazines and videos that would really inspire people or direct people, show them how to work out and eat right. Some of these people made a tremendous physical change, and that's all good. It improves their heart health, it gives them more confidence, and sometimes their whole life gets better for the time that they're doing it. But with the transformation, you see something different happening. You see the person change from the inside out, not just the body change. That became very interesting to me, is that what happens when a person makes a real transformation, a real change of heart, and that the change comes from inside and it shows up on the outside in the newer, better body. One of the things you can see here is that everybody that goes through our program does the before pictures and is working towards that after picture. And that's a real privilege to get to see so many people making such a powerful change. But that's what it's all about, is getting from where you are to where you want to be. And don't ever underestimate the power of a before photo to motivate you. And take a good, honest look at it and say, is this how I want to stay, or do I want to change? And every one of these people decided to change. For those people, the comfort years and the comfort zone is over. And finally, they realize that it's starting to hurt to be out of shape. They don't feel comfortable. They really have to stop the denial and really look in the mirror and say, is this how I want to live my life? And I think out of desperation, many people will say, enough is enough. And they'll look for a way to make a change. And very many of those people come back to fitness. And that's where I really like to jump in and help them. I mean, a lot of guys that were into bodybuilding when they were young, like I was, and they might have a picture like this of themselves when they're in top condition, and they go back and they feel young and strong. But unfortunately, they look in a mirror and you don't see that anymore. You see somebody who's gained weight, who's let their body go, and who just doesn't have that strong feeling anymore. What I would say to them is that if you've done it before, you can do it again. So one of the hardest things that I ever went through happened a couple years ago. I was at my house in California, and I have my workout room on the 4th floor. And I thought, well, I want my workout room right next to my bedroom, so I'm gonna walk through the gym to get to the kitchen. You gotta set yourself up for success. So I did my workout, and then I just decided to get downstairs. On that first step, I came down with about half my foot on the stair, and my leg was so exhausted from working out that it just buckled. I was falling forward, knees first. All I can remember is it sounded like 6 dry branches breaking. Pop, pop, pop. And then I grabbed the rail to try to stand up. My legs were like paralyzed. I couldn't move my legs. And I figured, how am I gonna get off these stairs? So I pulled myself up the stairs like this, leaned up against my bed, and I was curious as to what happened. I was still in shock, and I figured out pretty quickly it was a quadricep tendon rupture. So the ambulance shows up at the house, and the guys come upstairs, and they put you down on one of those planks. I was riding in the back of the ambulance, and I was pretty scared, man. I was pretty scared. The EMT that was with me in the back there, they were more concerned about my neck than my knees. I knew that my neck was okay, but they approached us from great caution, and so he was more looking at keeping my neck stable because, you know, on a fall like this, you could have broke your neck. You get to the hospital, one of the surgeons comes down. He goes, "What the hell did you do?" And I said, "Well, in a way, I had a lucky fall." And he goes, "What?" And I said, my neck and my back are fine, and my legs are the strongest part of my body, and they took all the damage. So he goes, "Well, I guess you are lucky." So up I went to the surgery floor, and this is all happening very fast. They wanted to get to the surgery right away. This is a picture of my legs before surgery. This was one of the things that just began to really affect me and got very upsetting, because I'd spent years and years, decades, building my calf muscles and building my quadricep muscles, and to look down and see what they'd become in just a matter of hours, it was getting hard to get my mind around it. When I had the accident, and when I was going to the hospital, I don't really recall feeling much pain. But when I came out of surgery, it was like burning knives just stuck in my legs, and it just absolutely shocked the heck out of me. And I screamed and then literally cried because it was so painful. The doctor came in and said, it went good, or it went well. He said it took 5 hours to reattach the muscles. They drilled holes in the patella and they bring the muscles down. They put 500 stitches in on each leg. And he said, Bill, he goes, everything's gone okay so far. But he says, I got one thing for you. He says, if you bend those legs in the next 40 days, he says, you'll be right back here for surgery. These leg braces were put on right after surgery, and they lock your legs out. Your legs constantly are sweating. Everything becomes uncomfortable. Was released from the hospital a couple weeks later. So there I am, laying in my hospital bed at home, can't exercise, can't even get up and take a shower, and eating for comfort. Fast forward 4 months, and you see my before photo. This is me after 5 or 6 months, and I was able to stand up and go to my own bedroom, and I looked in the mirror for the first time, and I was like, holy crap. Inactivity is devastating to the body. All the years of working out, all the years of knowing what to do and doing what you know, didn't mean a thing. And you get a message real quick. You are just like everybody else. Imagine being Bill Phillips, having a Body for Life success manual out there, millions of people doing your program, and you look in a mirror and this is what you see. I had finally reached the point that I got pissed off. And I looked in the mirror, and I took my hand like this, and I made a fist. I said, to hell with this. I'm not doing this anymore. I made the decision right then and there that I was going to have to do the same thing everybody else does, the same work, the same plan. I immediately started to take some kind of action. I went down to the kitchen, and I went through the cabinets. All the junk food, all the comfort food, man, I got out a trash can and I started throwing that stuff away, and already I felt better. A few weeks later, I was able to get my walker into the gym, and I laid down and did some Frankenstein curls. The legs got to be completely straight. I was just kind of seeing what I could do. I wasn't really starting a program yet, but I was excited that, I was getting close. Getting these dumbbells back in my hand was like pain medicine and an antidepressant at the same time. I love lifting weights. I had to plan every meal. I had to plan every workout, and I had to go through and give myself credit for accomplishing something that day that got me closer to my goals. If I waited until I got to where I wanted to be before I started feeling good and giving myself credit for doing something, I wouldn't have made it through. I had to learn that each day I went to the sports center, each day that I ate healthy, whole day was a win. It's always humbling to look at this photo. It really makes me realize that my body is just like everybody else. I can get out of shape the same way other people do. And the good news is that I discovered is that even in my late 40s, I was able to get back on track. And what's most important of all is that the way I'm living now allows me to help other people from a completely different perspective. So it made me a better teacher. It made me a healthier person. I have a completely different life, and I'm back to doing what I love to do. And I realized that, you know what? None of that would have been possible if I didn't fall down the stairs. When I look back here, I see myself 32 years ago. I'm reminded that bodybuilding has been something that I've had a passion for, that I've really loved the whole time throughout my life. It's been the one thing that's been consistent. And when I'm on track with my workouts and my eating, I have better discipline, I'm more effective. I'm always doing something that is exciting to me, and I turn it into not just something that made me feel good, but I turned this passion for bodybuilding a way that I could make a difference in the lives of others. And if I look back and I think this kid right here, if he would have known that he was going to write a book that was going to fire up 1 million people and get them started in fitness and bodybuilding, he wouldn't have believed it, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, if I could go back and tell that guy one thing, I would say I was pretty proud of that young guy, because I chose that path early in my life to develop discipline and strength, and to put my heart and soul into something that I was really fired up about. And I would say to this guy, learn to enjoy the adversity as much as your success, because you're going to learn something important from each. And I don't think you know that as a kid. I had to start over from scratch in my late 40s to rebuild my fitness. And I know from firsthand experience that if you want it and you make the decision to make that change and you're willing to do the same work that you did before, you're going to be successful. And you're going to find that part of yourself that you really like and that you really are proud of.